Okay, so we're here today and we want to ask you, are you feeling lonely in your marriage? Are you feeling disconnected in your relationship? Whether you've been together with your partner, 5 years, 10 years, 12, 15 years, did you marry the love of your life and think like, this is going to be my best friend forever? And I know everything about them and I want to know everything about them forever. And is that you and now you're feeling really lonely?
And lonely is different for everyone,
It is.
right? So for some people, that's like they used to tell each other everything, and now they're just having those like surface level
Mm-hmm.
conversations. How's your day, honey? Great. How is yours? Fine. And then moving on to all the household chores, so they just don't really know what's going on with their partner inside their mind, inside their lives. And for other people, lonely is more about like the physical connection. And they're
Mm-hmm.
just feeling like, when was the last time we reached out and like gave each other like a really long kiss or a long hug or had like a really long makeout session? So they're just feeling disconnected and lonely in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're feeling that loneliness, we understand. We hear that all the time from our clients. And the way that shows up is often like, maybe your partner's coming home and you're not excited to see one another anymore.
Or you were excited to see them, but they don't seem that excited to see you. So you match their level of energy because it
Maybe.
feels too scary to be the one who's excited.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, yeah, you don't even really greet each other in a nice way at the end of the day, where you used to, yeah, go in for the big excited hug, and now you just kind of
Yeah.
like stay on your computer or
Your
making dinner or your
phone.
phone,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, hey, honey,
Yeah.
maybe after dinner, one of you is going to the office and the other to the bedroom, or one person's going on the couch to Netflix and chill and the other person's back in their office.
Yeah, or going to bed early to maybe avoid, right? Avoid those hard conversations or avoid that time with one another that you used to actually prioritize.
And a lot of the time, it's not really been like one big event that's happened. It's just been kind of like this slow trickle, this slow pulling away from one
Oh,
another. And so there's no like looking back. You don't even know like when it started. Like, when did we stop sharing things with each other? When did I turn to my like girlfriends or guy friends instead of my partner? It
yeah,
just sort of like has slowly happened over time.
totally. You've probably asked yourself, how did we get here?
Yeah, and
Because you
where did we
can't
used to?
pinpoint it.
Yeah. And how do we get us back?
Yes, yes. It's that slow breakdown, that slow divide that happens when there is no crisis,
Yeah.
no giant event.
It's just like life has
Mm-hmm.
has taken over, and a lot of your emotional and physical energy that used to be put into the relationship is now divided out into other things, into work. Maybe you're better at self-care. Maybe it's about the kids.
Maybe
Maybe you're better with your friendships, but it's like
to-do lists.
yeah, but it's like
Yeah,
this feeling that
schedules.
your partner has somehow moved from like a top priority
Mm-hmm.
down the ranks, and you have in theirs too. So you've kind of been going like this
Mm-hmm.
together. And then you wake up one day and you look at each other and you're kind of like, I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of loneliness. Probably not what you signed up for. I know that's not what I signed up for in my marriage.
Yeah. It's like a rut.
It is like a rut. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, what do we really want in our relationships and in our marriage, right? We want connection. We want that connection to last. We want to feel like we know our partner and like we're the first call that they'll make if they get good news or bad news.
Yeah. Yeah, that they feel comfortable and safe coming to us with, the good news of their day, as well as the hiccups and the things that have gone wrong.
And vice versa, right? Like,
That you feel comfortable going to them and sharing with them.
are you their first? Are they your first phone call right now? Or do you call, your mom, your girlfriends, your guy friends? Like, yeah, who's your first phone call? And who did it used to be?
We see a lot of couples who end up talking to their kids more than their partner. Their kids know more about their lives and what's going on with them than their partner. And they're finding things out about their partner through their kids as opposed to through each other. Right?
Yeah. So maybe you're in this place of craving, right? You're craving that connection. You're craving being the person that your partner comes to, right? Being the person that they want to spend the time with.
Being the person they're excited to come home at the end of the day to see.
Yeah, but you're not.
Right.
You're not. And so what often ends up happening is these misattempts.
Misfires.
Misfires.
Yeah.
Of conversations, really. And maybe you say something like, we never have sex anymore. And it comes across really snide or like with a really harsh tone.
Yeah. So if you say that, then I'm hearing there's something wrong with me, like I haven't initiated or you haven't initiated or I want to fight back because it feels like I'm being accused of something. So I'm going to go into a place of like prove and defend my point of view.
It feels attacking.
Attacking, yeah. But what you actually meant was...
What I actually meant was, I'm feeling really physically disconnected from you and I want to feel your touch.
Or maybe you attempt to share with your partner some of the discomfort and loneliness that you're feeling, but it comes across like, we never go on date nights anymore. We used to prioritize our relationship and now we never spend time together. So.
And again, what I hear if I'm the partner is that I'm being attacked. I'm being really attacked. Like, oh my gosh, I've done something wrong. Maybe I missed a date night. Was I supposed to plan something? Did I do something wrong? I must have, or I'm not enough. I'm not doing something right. I'm feeling very attacked.
And what I really meant was I'm lonely. I miss you. I miss us. And I miss connecting and having great conversations and great sex.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder to say that. So instead we accuse, we blame, we take a tone of voice that the other person can't hear or receive what we actually mean, what's actually beneath it. And so it continues this cycle of fighting and disconnection because you're not really ever getting to the root of the pain or the place that you're feeling sad.
Yeah. And it can even come across like sometimes during conflict, which is easier sometimes to bring or hold that remark, those attacks from a partner, right? But sometimes it can even come out of the blue lease. So I was working with a client the other day and one of them said, how was your day? Feels easy, right? Feels like a kind thing to say. And the other partner said, yeah, I had a good day. And the first partner said, like, great, so you don't tell me anything anymore. And it was like, what? I did have a good day. What do you mean I don't tell you anything, right?
Yeah, because they've been relegated to the one word answer territory, right? Yeah. Like the thing that you say to the person passing on the street or the person that's calling on the phone or the grocery store attendant, like that's how what our relationship has become. Like you would share with me as much as you would share with somebody that, that you're just meeting on the street.
Yeah.
And that, of course, feels lonely. It's like, what does good even mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it's like these habits that we get into where we just kind of like do all these shortcuts and then think that everything's going to be okay. Think that, I can give all my extra energy to people at work, to my children, to even, my hobbies or my fitness. But my partner, they're just going to be there no matter what. So I can kind of give them the dregs.
Yeah, it's like we've taken them for granted. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then when things like that happen, whether it's anger, whether it comes across as resentment, any of those feelings which we would dub negative, they're really just bodyguards. They're just hiding the feelings underneath of loneliness, of feeling separated, of feeling disconnected.
Yeah, of missing the person.
Yeah. So, Lise, what's changed? Like, what is different between the beginning of those love story relationships where they're feeling that connection and where they've gotten to?
Well, they're not being honest with each other.
Is that what you're telling our listeners right now? That they are not being honest?
You're not being honest. You're not being honest.
So you think people are telling lies, like they're lying to their partner, they're like sneaking around?
It's a type of lie. No, not the sneaking around necessarily, but it's a type of lie. It's like a withholding the truth. In this case, honesty is about sharing and showing your truth, your real, raw emotions, how you're actually feeling, being vulnerable with your partner. That is being honest with them. And I think you've stopped doing that with your partner. I think you've stopped being honest with them and showing them the real you, your real emotions, your real sadness, and the uncomfortable feelings that we get when we're lonely are hard to express.
Yeah.
And so I think you've stopped. I'm accusing you right here, right now. I'm accusing you of not being honest. Maybe not even that honest with yourself, and not
I was going to say,
honest
like, they're
with your
even
partner.
hard things to sit within yourself. They really are.
Yeah.
So you're not lying, but you're not being vulnerable, like Lisa said. Like, you're not sharing. You're not sharing what's inside of you, even with yourself, never mind with your partner. So what is vulnerability then?
Yeah, vulnerability is, it's risk, uncertainty, emotional
I
exposure.
love that, yes.
It's the first thing that we want to see in others. Show me your vulnerabilities. Tell me what your fears, like tell me what keeps you up at night. Tell me all the things. But it's the last thing we want to share about ourselves.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it feels like you're getting naked, like fully naked in front of someone when you are vulnerable with them.
And in such a close partnership, when you used to maybe have those vulnerabilities with one another, and now you're not sharing, it can sometimes get to a place of, well, who goes first? I'm not going to say something first.
Yeah. So let's give some examples, Linz, of like this, you're feeling disconnected from your partner. You haven't been honest or vulnerable with them about how you really feel. What are some examples? I mean, vulnerability is getting a demotion at work and having to share that with your partner.
Or it's as simple as sharing what we've been talking about here today, sharing that you're lonely. So instead of saying I had a great day, vulnerability is saying, like, my day was kind of the same as all the other days. I kind of realized today, though, that we haven't spent a whole lot of quality time together, and I missed you. I feel lonely.
Yeah. Vulnerability is being the one to initiate physical touch and sex, especially if you have a pattern of being turned down.
It's hard. There's often one initiator in a relationship, and if that's you, and you've been constantly turned down, it's hard to reach that hand out again and be vulnerable. Yeah.
Vulnerability is being honest with your partner about how you feel about going to your in-laws for dinner or for the summer or for all of that. It's sharing your truth, right?
Yeah. It is the courage to share your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you're having disconnect in your parenting. Maybe you're having trouble right now parenting one of your kids. Well, vulnerability is sharing that you don't know what to do, that it's hard, and that you feel like you're not being a good mom, you're not being a good dad, and you feel lost.
Or maybe in this scenario, the vulnerability is that you don't like how the other person, or agree with how they're parenting the child versus how you're parenting the child. And you don't know how to say, like, actually, I think your approach is painful and damaging, or it's not what I would want. And can we talk about it? Can we maybe be a team again in our parenting?
Yeah. So that's really what we're saying, is what's missing from before to now, what's missing from connection to disconnection, and what will bring you back to the reconnection is that piece on vulnerability.
Speak your truth to your partner, even if it's hard, even if it's scary, even if you don't know how it's going to go. Be courageous. Have the hard conversations. You got this.